from beneath the sand. Distant miracles seem so far away. Across this universe, she lives another day. I know the reason she stays. I know the reason she's so far away. I know the reason she stays. I know the reason she's so far away. Nico, how could we run from everything we have done? It only takes us one more step to fall. Nico, how could we run from everything we have done? It only takes us one more step. Nico, how the reason she stays. Nico, how the reason she's so far away. Nico, how the reason she stays. Nico, how the reason she I know the reason she stays. I know the reason she's so far away. I know the reason she stays. I know the reason she's so far she's so far away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast, the Friday night fights here on the Victoris Triumph Series. I am your host, Becky Rita, and joining me today, as always, we have Moose, we have TDS, and we've got Cow behind the camera, making things work, hopefully. If things don't work, it's probably my fault, though. Anyways, TDS, let's. I'm curious. How are you doing tonight? How are you feeling? How are things going?
So it's been a pretty interesting week, not gonna lie. Like there's been a lot of things happening. There's been teams that I think out of nowhere came and did some things that we didn't expect. Some others like TA Black that are still unbeaten. So I'm kind of interested in seeing what will happen today, especially because today we will have a matchup with one team that I wasn't expecting anything from previously, but I don't want to say told things because it sounds sketchy, but I've been talking with some people in their team and they tell me that I should be excited about what they can do. So I'm really excited if they can show up.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what teams are going to show up this week, especially after the results of some of the matches we had last week and the match results we've had during the week, because they have shaken up the standings quite a bit. Moose, I know you've been keeping track of these things. How are you feeling about how the teams are shaken out as we move into the second half of the split?
Yeah, I mean we're nearing the home stretch of the regular season, and for the most part, I think that my opinion aside, that most of the playoff teams have been established. We've got an undefeated team in TA Black and Virtue Gaming Ambition, with Team TA Black already confirming their Week 5 win earlier this week. They also get a bye in round 7, so they're gonna have a potential to go 7-0 for the remainder of the regular season. That is probably maybe, and will most likely be the best standing, unless Virtue Gaming Ambition is able to do the same over on their side in Group A. But at the end of the day, this is a do or die week for many of the teams. We've got several teams in Group A that are 1-3. In Group B, you've got Akuma Blades at 2-2, and then you've got Ragnarok Esports Thor. You've got the opportunity for some teams that are currently 1-3 to potentially be able to bounce back and take that spot away if they are able to take wins. So anytime and any team that loses today that is 1-3 will be eliminated from playoff contention. Any team that's 3-1 that wins today is going to be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. So seeding is important, and every game counts.
Yeah, every game counts. You can no longer slip up. If you thought you couldn't slip up before, now you have no chance to slip up. If you continue to fall here, or if you falter at all while you're in the middle of the pack, your season could be done for. And tonight we have two teams who are looking to try and climb their way out of the hole they are in and make it into possible playoff contention. These teams have a long road ahead of them, and their match tonight is going to be vitally important for either of them if they even want to think about sniffing playoffs. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely something to look forward to, and I think it'll be a great match tonight. But first, I have created something wonderful for our audience tonight for the pre-show. You two with your big brains, you can talk about the games and stuff, and we'll go into more detail between games, of course, about the league and the Group A matches, because tonight we do have, actually, before we get into that, standings. Let's show the standings real quick. Go over, well, we were talking about it, but here they are. There have been a few adjustments, most notably TAB have won their match against Gang 7 Mirage, so they are currently the only undefeated team in the Group B. VGA remain undefeated, and the rest of the teams, overall, the standings haven't really changed a whole lot. I was kind of surprised when I was editing this that nothing had really changed. But, of course, you see in Group A, our featured match for tonight is going to be Mint versus CBU. And these two teams, they are They're spicy. They are in a bit of a. I forgot to change the records. I am now realizing this. Also, the week. I'm a professional. Okay, don't worry about the numbers. The numbers are fake. They're both losing. But I do like the colors here. Moose, TDS, anything you want to say about these teams tonight?
Sure. I think that, like, especially like let's just be clear here. Mint Gaming Neapolitan, who is the team on the left, they are 0-4. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it, no pun intended, but Mint Gaming Neapolitan, they are not making playoffs. They have been eliminated from contention. It is a top 4 50% bracket layoff. If you have 4 losses on your record, it's impossible for you to be able to come back at this point. So for Mint Gaming Mirage, For Mint Gaming Neapolitan, they have the chance to still shake up Group A by being that killjoy for some of these other teams, especially CBU. Opportunity for CBU is currently 1-3 to still make the playoffs, but in order for them to do that, they have to win Week 5, Week 6, and Week 7. So if they lose this match, if they lose this round, they will not make it into the playoffs. This is a must-win game for CBU, and Mint Gaming Neapolitan has the chance to really, be that killjoy and be that kind of bracket and I guess seeding person or team if they are able to, shake things up and get a win.
I don't expect to happen that much. Not that Neapolitan cannot, but I think it's going to be one. Like they can beat one of the teams, and will certainly shake it up for that one team. I feel like it's not going to be taken away from multiple teams. So it's going to be interesting seeing if they can achieve much. Now from CBU, I still don't like the name, but that's just me. I think they are an interesting team, especially after taking the victory in the last week. Something that they've told me that they were pretty much expecting to take that win up, and that they can shake up into playoffs. Like they were when we were going into the 0-3 week, when they were 0-3 and the week was just starting. I think it was around it was around the time of week 3, week 4. They told me that they expected this to happen. They were shaking things up, and just coming into week 4, they will win that week, and then come into this week winning, and once again just squeaking into playoffs. That's what they were telling me. And based on how they did last week and what is expected of them, I think that they're a team to be careful of. Like, this is not the same team that started the split. There's been some changes here and there, so I'm actually really expecting to see how they can perform today.
Yeah, the high expectations are high for these teams, and we expect to see a good showing tonight. And man, I'm looking at the time, and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of it, but I spent all this time working on it, and we're gonna play. I've got a game prepared for us tonight. I've got a pop quiz. It's time to get your Boomer League hats on, because we're going to the auction house, because I've got something to sell you, courtesy of my friend Boris. We are going to showcase some. I would like to sell you, my friends, some legacy items, some wonderful purchases here. Classic Boris, creations. Some of the best items League has ever had to offer, and some of the worst. So, to give a quick rundown of the plan here for those in the audience, what I'm going to be asking you two to do is, I will be wanting you two to identify an item that I am describing based on the hints I give you. But I am not looking for the name of the item. I am looking for its gold value during its last appearance in League of Legends PC Edition. And whoever is closest to the amount will win a prestigious Boris PNG of the items. That's right, Boris NFTs are real. You will get your own. It is individual. Do not screenshot and share. This is one of a kind. No one else can own it. So you're going to want to get these. They're going to be amazing. Amazing.
I better. If not, I'm going to speak to the manager and ask for my senior Boomer discount. I want it.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if you've got the boomer skill. So let's begin with the first item I have on the list here. We won't be going through all of these, but we've got plenty to delay until they are ready for draft. So first up, here is your first item. This item was beloved by mages, but found itself home in the inventory of certain tanks as well. Those who purchased it were always first in line. After all, the later you bought it, the less useful it would be for you. And it was certainly a treasure for the ages. All right, do either of you have any idea which item I'm talking about?
Not really.
All right.
Which season was it from?
It stuck around for a while. It's actually still in Wild Rift, believe it or not.
Oh, that changes everything.
It is to give a little more detail.
Wait, 3,200.
AP Bruiser item. Okay, let's just go for the dollars. Gold value. Moose, what have you got?
Oh, I'm gonna go with chat. I'm getting cheating a little bit here. It sounds like it might be Rod of Ages, so 3,000.
Ooh.
It might be 3,000.
TDS, what did you have?
The thing is, I know it's Road of Ages, but I don't know if it's 3,000 or 3,200. I feel like it's 3,200.
Yes, it is Rod of Ages. However, it actually got a huge price cut during its last appearance. It was only 2,600 gold. So, I believe Moose is closer.
Yeah, Moose wins.
Yes! So Moose gets the first Boris NFT. Congratulations. Enjoy your Rod of Ages. It'll scale up in no time, Smile.
I remember using that on Talia when Talia came out. Oh, those were the days.
All right,
It's old.
Yeah,
6 seasons.
We've got another. We've got another one on the list here. All right. So this is one of the oldest official releases from Boris Co. and one of their oldest to be discontinued. This is after the official launch of the game. This item, while being rather unassuming at first glance, just so happened to be a source of infinite sustain in the right hands, claws, talons, paws, so on. And one of those hands just so happens to be a famous guardsman, serving Ionia in the battle against Noxian invasion. May he fight on, that beautiful Udyr. Yeah, this is an old one. This is a very old one.
I'm gonna go 2,200.
2,200. Now, you don't need to know the item, you need a gold value. So,
yeah,
do you have any idea what it could be, TDS?
Not in the least. I started playing after season 5, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, you would have no
idea. There's
idea.
no chance that I know this item, but I think...
I will say it did reappear in Nexus Splits. It was in Nexus Splits.
I think 2,500, I would say. I don't think it's over 3,000.
2,500. Well, once again, I'm talking about Intervading Locket. That is right. The old support item that gave you mana and health for spamming abilities. It was incredibly broken on Udyr, and Guardsman Bob used it to win one of the first show matches Riot hosted during Season 1. So Moose wins another Boris NFT, only 500 gold off. Did you know it was Intervading Locket?
No clue. I started in Season 2, so I never got to see it.
No, I got to use this item. It was gross.
Wait,
it was so
isn't that the snack that you give
so disgusting.
Isn't that the snack that you give to the Poro King in Aram?
The snack is based on this design, actually.
Okay, that looked familiar.
Okay, we will go ahead and do... I'm checking to see... okay, no. I think we've got time for a couple more here. So this one, this is going to be for the junglers. The junglers in chat. Oh wait, this is a preseason 5 item. Oh man, I'm really screwing you over, TDS. What else have I got here? Okay, I got a different one. To sell you. So TDS, this one you might get. All right.
Maybe.
This item was one of several that Boris created to give power to those who didn't want to play with their teammates.
Okay.
However, this one didn't quite find success. At best, it became a gimmick item for those who just wanted to summon some new friends. And that's what you get for tapping into the Void Gates.
Oh, I know this one. I know this
I know
one.
which item it is, but the price. I'm between
Oh
two.
yes. Oh yes. Okay, so what is it? What is it?
It's Zizara Portal or Zizara.
It is
Yeah,
Zizirot Portal.
it is
What
Zizirot.
is the cost, Moose? What are you thinking?
2,700.
2,700. All right,
The thing
TDS.
is, I
what
think
do we
it got nerfed, right? Like at the end, it was much more pricey, isn't it? Like I think it got over 3,000, so I think it's around
Oh.
3,000. I
3,000.
think 3,000. If I go for what I think exactly, I think it's 3,400. But if I say that normally 3,000,
400.
I think
All right.
around that.
Unfortunately, TDS, you are quite off the mark. It was a
It is?
rather cheap
Yes?
item. It got its
Wait,
gold
really?
value reduced because nobody was buying this garbage. It is Zizirot Portal, and it is exactly 2,700. Moose.
I don't know why I remember why I
all
thought
the
that.
boring
Yeah.
NFTs right now.
I don't know why I
All
thought
of-
that it got that it got nerfed by the price. It just got deleted instead of
Yeah.
of getting bored.
Okay, it
Holy
might have
moly.
it might have actually just gotten deleted. That is fine though. All right, we'll go ahead and do one more here. I wish I had picked some newer items now.
No,
I picked a lot
it's
of
fine.
classics
It's fine.
here.
It's fine. If I get it, I feel better myself, so it's okay.
All right, this
I
one.
take that.
This is gonna be our final one for the night. And I'll actually do this item because I love it. It is a cool one indeed. This item was a great companion to various junglers once upon a time, particularly those who loved their basic attacks. It truly gave everything: vision, gold income, healing, damage, and for such an affordable price. And ironically, the item that replaced it was even stronger on release, on a patch numbered for blazing it, despite the item literally being named for being literally on fire. Old Warwick players will know about this patch. Good old Weedwick 420. The last time Warwick was ever good.
Wait, so it is the thing that it is the thing that was before the smites, right? Like the colored smites that came in
Yes.
through season 5.
It was
Okay.
before the colored smites, yes.
Ah,
Do you,
I
do you
don't
have
remember. I
you
don't
don't-
remember.
So
Okay.
if it is affordable, I think it has to be around the 1,000 gold mark, because the smites were like the smite values that came in after weren't that high either. So I think it has to be around the 1,000 gold mark.
Okay. So do you have? I will say it is more than 1,000, just to sort of help you out. Where do you think it lands?
I think it has to be 1,300.
1,000.
I think it cannot be. It shouldn't be higher than 1,500 because that is a lot of gold.
Moose.
for
What are you
junglers.
thinking?
1 gold.
One go. All right. You're literally
maybe
Price
I
is Right
cannot
strats
believe it.
right now. You
1
are
gold.
very ambitious, and unfortunately, Moose, your gamble does not pay off.
Ah,
Because we are talking about Feral Flare. That is
Yeah,
right.
don't know that at all.
The
wow.
evolution of Wriggled Lantern, when you got 30 Feral Flare stacks, it
Oh.
evolved into this item, and it was absurdly broken. This item was so disgusting. It broke
Okay.
the jungle for a patch. It was
So I
man, exciting.
actually feel glad that I don't feel that old because I don't know this one at all. Like I
Yeah,
legitimately don't recognize this.
Yeah,
Dude.
and the cost of this item, 1,800 gold.
Ooh,
It was
Okay.
actually.
so cheap for the
I think
value
it's
that
actually.
you got.
I actually think. I think actually it's kind of pricey. No, for a jungler, it's kind of pricey. feels like.
The smite enchants, including the dagger
The
and
completed.
the completed smite enchants, those were actually more expensive than Feral
Is it
Flare.
2,000? Is it 2,000 something?
It was like
I think-
2000. It was like 2000. I believe it was like 2,200, 2,300
Yeah,
for
something
the
like
smite
that.
enchants, for like the smite enchants that came next season. And Sated Devourer was what replaced Feral Flare, and it was also broken.
I
and got
actually
removed from
thought.
the
I
game.
actually thought that we were talking about the power. I at the start I
Yeah.
thought it's the power, and then the other things came in, and that's why I
Yeah,
thought
Devourer was directly
restriction.
inspired by Feral Flare and equally as broken, which
I
is
take
why
it, I
it
won
got
one.
removed. Yeah,
I
so
won one, so I'm fine with
TDS
that.
does take home one here, but Moose has claimed 3 exclusive, one-of-a-kind, do not screenshot Boris NFTs of some of these classic League of Legends items. Other ones I had on the list here that we could not get to. Brutalizer, 1337 gold, a classic gold value for the item. Philosopher's Stone, which was 700 gold and also full build for supports in Season 3. And Sword of the Divine, an item purchased by actually nobody because it was terrible in both iterations.
I knew that item, like I knew 100% of that item, and the only reason for that is that one of my best friends is a Rengar main, and he spammed the living hell out of that item because he just ran over people with that.
Yeah, it was good on Rengar and Draven, exactly. Otherwise, it was just horrendous. And it was even worse in its first iteration. It allowed you to go through dodge chance. That's right, dodge chance. That's how old this stupid item was. Anyways, that's all. We've gone far over time here. I'm sure the players are waiting to get into the action. So I'll go ahead and throw it over to Draft. Congratulations once again to Moose. And of course, Feral Flare. You can enjoy TDS, you can enjoy your Feral Flare. It is better than probably all 3 of the items Moose has.
I live with that.
All right, take it away, lads. Let's go into Draft, assuming the players are ready. And we can get into our first match between CBU and Mint.
Let's do it. Let's go. All right, yeah, we are ready to jump into it. That was super fun. TDS, I still think I can take you though with my Zizarot, with my cookie and my Rod of Ages. I still think I beat you.
Probably, I don't even know what my item does, so it's probably not going to work out that well.
Good. At least I know what 2 of my items do. All right. Anyway, all right. With that being said, though, Mint Gaming Neapolitan versus CBU. It is the start of week 5 here today on the cast. We have been heard great things about the changes to CBU, and I'm very excited to see what this team is going to bring to the table. They're going to be on red side, Mint Gaming Neapolitan over on the blue. They're going to be starting out with the Wukong. It's 12.10. It's hovered. It's probably one of the strongest B1 picks.
Yeah, I think the Wukong is still one of the stronger junglers, certainly, and I like the pick. I feel like it's over-prioritized, though, because I feel like there's still good answers against him. But all in all, if you're not sure about what to take, you can take the Wukong. It's still going to work out quite well for you. For the side of CBU, though, with the attention that there was towards the scaling picks, I think that maybe there's going to be some attempt towards an scaling composition, something with maybe a Bane, we may end up seeing, with Enchanter supports. We do get a Viego, which I think it's the typical answer towards the Wukong, and I really want to see if we do get something much more engaging on the side of CBU, or if we get the Enchanters that will typically go off into scaling.
Yeah, I think, Viego, for either Sliver or Swapbaker, they both can't utilize the soul, or they utilize the Viego really effectively. If they get the soul of Wukong, Wukong is a great soul to take because you get engage, you get armor shred, you get, health regen, you get a clone. It's everything in a bag of chips when you're able to pick up Wukong if you do take the Wukong down, which in a fight, if the Wukong is a little bit behind, is definitely possible, but you have to be able to make it happen. The Renata is there as well, looking to utilize that hostile takeover to potentially catch Mint Gaming Neapolitan off guard.
Yeah, and I like the Renata here because it's a pretty good mix of both Enchanter as well as Engage support with the ultimate in terms of how you can play it, but the idea with the Viego is really, really good to have. Now, on the side of Mint Gaming, the Ahri and the Lucian, well, first of all, the Ahri pick here, kind of interesting having that attention there, but I feel like, as we have seen in OSI, if you catch what happened over there, there's a lot of matchups that you can play around with the Ahri, and if you don't have priority with the champion, it loses a lot of its value because you're really dependent on those picks, on getting the move around the map with the Wukong, with their jungler, to just get the most done. And I feel like maybe the Ahri is not going to capitalize on that if there's a good matchup in mid lane. The Lucian here, I'm not against it. It's not with one of the better support champions picked here, which is kind of surprising. If you're going to go for the Lucian, you do go for the Nami, which now is banned away, but it's going to be interesting seeing where does it fall. And the Seri, we actually haven't seen her in quite a while, so I'm excited to see how does she perform.
Yeah, Zeri was, what do we say, nerfed to the ground a couple of patches ago and has not been as prominent as it was. Of course, if you guys watch the LCS, very early seasons, or very early in the season, 12.1, 12.2, Zeri was astronomically overpowered. Danny with pentakills, it was insane. LCS, check it out, it was great. But now you're going to be pairing it with the Renata. You get that extra movement speed, you get that extra attack speed when going towards champions, which is something that Mint Gaming Neapolitan maybe doesn't have an answer to yet. Both the Ahri and the Lucian like to be able to use their dashes to maybe move away and reposition, and the Renata and Zeri kind of allow you to chase down along with this Vex. So you're looking at a squad for CBU that is looking to be able to get to this backline and stick with the targets that they're going with.
Yeah, and actually the prolonged teamfight from CBU is quite good. Like, I feel like their initial burst potential is not bad. I think Mint Gaming Neapolitan may have an even better initial engage thanks to the champions that they are drafting. But the continuation fight, the long-term fights, the fights that last longer than 5 seconds and 10 seconds, this beneficiate CBU quite a lot because you have champions that have a lot of reset potential, have champions that have continuous damage that you can make the most of, and if you get a second round of rotations, CBU benefits quite heavily from that. And I really like also the potential in terms of laning phase so far, because I think the Vex and the Zeri are not necessarily bad options here, especially against a Lucian and an Ahri that can have good laning phases, but it's not necessarily the most dominating ones. The Camille here, I think, a really good safe blind pick in top lane because she's not going to be quite affected against it's a really specific counter matchup. She can impact the side lanes effectively. She can impact team fights effectively thanks to her ultimate, and she kind of always finds value. But if this pick goes through, yeah, it's not yet going through, it's a hover, but this is one of the better counter picks for the Camille, and it can work out quite nicely. If this pick doesn't come through, okay, it comes through, so I can still talk about it. This works out really nicely because laning phase, in laning phase, it can get the damage over the Camille most of the time. In late game, it actually just outperforms the Camille completely, and in side lane, it feels like it's impossible to attack the Jax. And then team fighting wise, I don't like it that much, but he can come up really nicely as a clean-up crew.
It's what we've got 2, 4, 6, 804 collective years of low development on the side of CBU and the 1 year with the Jax. Comparatively, you know, I think Keikobu said it best. You've got a bunch of new champions for CBU going up against some of the classic champs against Mint Gaming Neapolitan and the Camille and the Jax. So very excited to see what CBU is going to be able to do with these new champions. I want to see how this synergy is going to be played out, especially with the Renata and the Zeri. I think that they can work out together really, really well, but that does mean that it is going to be Viego versus Wukong in the jungle. I think in the very early game, Amora 1 is going to have a decent time up against Viego, but if for whatever reason it becomes a 2v2 or maybe even at worst a 3v3 skirmish, especially with that Jax and that Vex, I don't know if Mint Gaming Neapolitan is going to win those fights, and you do not want to let any of these carries get ahead. They all have the potential to just pop off here. And we got to look at Mint Gaming Neapolitan's draft. I think the big issue that, you know, Yuto spoke about earlier was the Nami allowed to get banned out in the second round of picks and bans means that the Lucian's going to get paired with the Nautilus. While still somewhat effective, isn't the most optimal.
Yeah, one thing that you always want to have with your Lucian is someone that can proc his passive. His passive is something that is making him quite a really big deal in the meta right now, and was making him a big deal in the meta previously as well. The fact that you can stack the passive, keep the damage up, it just makes him so good in early, in mid, and in late game. And Nami is one of the best facilitators for that because she stacks up the damage as well. Apart from just the passive, it's just the extra damage that she provides. And this is kind of why I thought, I didn't understand really the Ahri pick here, because Ahri is not high priority. She's not really that strong anymore. She got a couple of nerfs that really affected her. And even without the nerfs, like we saw, like I was pointing out with MSI, we saw that if you have a lane that can put pressure on her, she's close to useless in the early stages. And that's something really, really big, especially when you have a jungler that wants to get the attention early on, wants to move around the map, impact lanes, get the 2v2s, the 3v3s like you were pointing out, and try and win them. Like if, let's say for example, if there's a 2v2 ever where Viego gets attacked, gets the attack first into the Wukong, then the Backstream teams with the Fear, and the Ahri just has the charm. Like even with one charm target, if the Fear hits 2 targets, that's it. You lose the fight because the Fear it becomes much more impactful. And I feel like that's something that Min Gaming will fall victim to in this game, because I think that the Fear will find much more value than any charms. Unless it's a committed charm with 5 members jumping onto a single target, I don't think it's going to be as effective as the collective Fear.
I think for Mint Gaming Neapolitan, like I'm really looking here at this bottom lane. Solian and Jesus in a Bottle 69, they are not drafting to, I don't think that they're drafting to play into the mid to the late game with the duo. I think they're looking to win the 2v2 with assistance from the Immoral One on this Wukong. If they can get Solian to a good position and they can feel strong, they get a couple of kills onto Timeless, stop the Zeri from scaling up, make Jensen the Renata less effective, it does give a little bit more power to Neapolitan's composition, because the Lucian Nautilus can be very early game. It can spike a lot sooner than the Renata and the Zeri, but you have to be able to get those early kills, and you have to be able to shut down Timeless and Jensen. If you can't do that, I don't know if they're going to have enough damage and enough health to be able to stay alive against the carries that CBU has drafted. If we get to the 15 or 20 minute mark and we've got a several thousand gold lead for CBU, I think that it's going to be very difficult for Neapolitan to win this game. But before we get ourselves into the spectator delay, the most important question of the draft, I gotta ask you and the chat, what do you guys think the soul is going to be for game 1? To just clarify really quickly, we have 3 Mountain Souls, 2 Cloud Souls, and 1 each of the Infernal, the Hextech, and the Ocean Rifts on stream for the VTS split. What are your thoughts here for game 1, TDS?
I'll go for the Ocean Soul. I think it's going to be Ocean Soul this game. I believe in the Ocean power.
Leaving the Ocean power, I feel it. Yeah. I think it would work really well for both teams as well. I think that, you know, the expectation is that we're going to see Mountain Rift because it's the most common.
Probably.
I think Mountain Rift is going to come out at some point this match, and I think it's going to be this game. I'm going to go with Mountain Rift here in game 1.
Okay, I can see that happening, especially because it's one of the most popular ones. So.
You know, we gotta keep with the trends. You gotta keep with the trends. We're trendsetters here. We're Zoomers. We're hip. We're on fleek. We're dripping in all of our new items. Like it's insane. Anyway, enough of me, enough of that, enough of the Dragon Soul predictions. We're going to take a quick break before we jump into game number 1. CBU is fighting for their tournament lives here today, and Mint Gaming Neapolitan is looking to get a win on the board. We're going to watch game 1 here in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are live for game 1 of our week 5 matchup. CBU versus Mint Gaming Neapolitan. Moose and TDS here at the desk. And, for the start of this match, we do have a 5-point start. Looks like there was a reset or maybe something going on from Sliver. But regardless of that, expectations are high for both of these teams.
Yeah, both of these teams, apart from the fact
Minions have spawned.
Okay, TDS will come back
Oh,
here shortly. Yeah, there you are.
I'm
Okay,
back.
cool. All right,
Okay,
you're back.
perfect. Yeah. So I want to say that for both of these teams, apart from the fact that they certainly want to get the win, since like for Mint, it's not super important, but it's prideful, and you certainly don't want to lose all your games. And for CBU, it's to keep your chances at playoffs alive. Still, I feel like the game is set up so that Mint can have a lot of power early on in the game, or at least in mid game where they will spike super heavily. And if they are not able to do that, this is going to be really dangerous for them. I think that the early to mid game is where they will shine, and if they don't find the opportunity to shine, then it's going to be really, really bad for them.
I think so as well. Like, this is one of those chances now for Mint Gaming Neapolitan to at least end the split with a win. They have to go up against some pretty tough opponents in week 6 and week 7. So, difficulty of schedule aside, being able to at least end with a win is great. If they can win this and win the next 2 weeks and end the split 3 and 4, hey, that is not a bad split. Even though you didn't get the result maybe that you were looking for, you still have that chance to make it happen. Got Johnny Rockets, though, dealing a lot of damage to Severe. That is the Jax Camille matchup for you. It is not fun on the Camille's end.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. It's not something that you enjoy quite a lot to be playing against. And
okay, flash for flash.
I saw it coming.
Yeah, good hands. Good hands, though.
Yeah, that was such a good attempt out of the Jax. I really like the idea to go trade for the flashes, because realistically, one thing that Camila and Jax both can benefit from, it's being able to use your abilities to just escape without the need of the flash. So I like the idea to trade aggressively that flash.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that some of the cool kids do with Camille at the moment is go for the teleport ignite build, and Severe instead has decided to go with the flash. As Handshake does get used, our first gank of the game is not going to result in too much yet. The flash is going to be taken away from Jensen, and the play is not over yet. A nice dredge line's going to land on a timeless. He's going to flash away as well. Going to get ignited. The Spectrum Maul will not land onto Imperial One. The Wukong is now down to 100 HP, but no follow-up. Both teams back away.
So it's a pretty similar trade in Summoners, except for the fact that the Lucian does keep his flash alive. But I think that if that stun from the Viego hits, that's a kill. That I think it's pretty much going to set as a kill. Still, really nice gank attempt, the bot lane, really nice counter and gank attempt from both teams. And I think it sets up quite nicely the pace for the continuation of this game, because we are going to see that action coming once again in the bot lane, or maybe in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, I think the expectation is that Johnny Rocket should be able to win the 1v1 against Severe and the Camille, so that is kind of a pseudo one lane for CBU or CBU.
In a sense.
And so, they can now look to focus in on the bottom side of the Rift and deny the early game power of Solian and Jesus in a Bottle with some kills against them. And so, good counterplay from Sliver to be where he needed to be against Immoral One. But we actually did just get our first back of the game from Johnny Rockets. It is a Sheen that is now going to come through. That is a big back comparatively to the longsword that Severe was able to get on the Camille. So you're just continuing to feel the pressure in the top lane. And right now, Timeless and Jensen, they're putting the power into the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, and this is the difference that you get thanks to the fact of having the range matchup, right? Because you have two range champions that can deal damage from a safe distance. The Nautilus, if he commits and fails, that is a pretty... Oh, wait.
Okay,
no flash. No
Jesus
flash.
in a Bottle will be sent to heaven, and First Blood will go to Timeless.
Yeah, although if he's in a bottle, wouldn't he be thrown to the ocean and that's it? Like, not necessarily dying, just...
It's I guess. I think that it's a play on Genie in a Bottle. You know, if I were a genie in a bottle
Okay,
or
don't
something
go
like
that
that,
far.
right?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know the reference. Then I'm not that cold.
Oh, you never watched like I Dream of Genie or something? You know,
So
genies in a bottle.
actually, if it's a movie, I actually don't watch a lot of movies. So I
Oh,
don't.
it's like an old 1960s 70s TV show. Um,
Okay, yeah, no.
uh, Cal might remember it. Because he's that old. But you know, what can I say? What can I say? Cal, please don't mute me. Cal, please don't mute me. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna get into a replay now, and I'm gonna shut my mouth.
That attack on Cow out of nowhere, but as we can see, out of nowhere, it's the same attack from the bot lane from CBU, with the Nautilus trying to set up maybe a potential pull on the minions, but thinking that the bot lane backed away, it's just an easy setup for the Nautilus. Now, the charm coming through, not enough damage, like it's barely any damage actually onto Jensen, apart from the fact that the area doesn't have items, we are still living in the world where durability is much higher. So that amount of damage is simply not neglectable from the bot lane. And as we can see, also the dragon collected by the side of CBU, which puts them into a really nice spot because they don't need to try and fight later on for early drakes either.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it is the ocean dragon first.
Wait, no, I
So
lost.
no. Yeah, I know. No ocean rift here for
No.
game 2, but you know what? The chances of any of the other rifts are still on the table, so definitely keep that in mind. There is also game 2, so don't you worry. But with that being said, like you said, the first dragon is getting taken by CBU. That is nice for their scaling. You would want to get the first dragon, I think, if you are a Moral One and Mint Gaming Neapolitan, but just doesn't work out. And now looking to maybe go for this Rift Herald, expectation is that CBU will be able to take that as well because Severe and the Camille is just so far behind now. It is a 22 CS advantage constantly pushed up onto his tower.
Yeah, like just minion wise, apart from the fact that the gold is much more in favor of the Jax, even though he hasn't backed yet, the experience is also in favor of the Jax. The Jax is so far ahead of the Camille. I think Camille just sting level 7, whilst I think the Jax with the next couple of minions, or at least the next wave, can hit level 8, which is a really important lead to have over your lane counterpart. And that also means that you get the complete control over the top side. Look at that, with the push in the mid lane, with the push in the top lane. Oh, okay, that's harsh. You get control over the Reaver and Camille.
Yeah, that's a big question mark there coming in from a Moral One. He just stops to go for the red buff. And the plan
the
is to
dive?
maybe go for this Rift Herald. The flash coming through
Oh!
and Severe will win the 1v1 against Johnny Rockets. But the reward will be the Rift Herald going over to Sliver. And it is going to be going to try to
Yes,
use
Flash.
some damage onto a Moral One. We'll have to use the clone to get away. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Timeless is going to move forward using the resurrecting powers of Jensen to keep him alive and pick up that kill against Solian. Jesus in the Bottle is now going to try to defend this lane, and overall, it's a 1-for-1 and a Rift Herald across the Rift.
Oh.
Handshake's going to be used along with Hostile Takeover. Jesus in the Bottle is still a tanky boy, and he will survive.
It's a cute attempt. I like the flash attempt. It doesn't work out at the end, but they do get the kill into the Lucian, and that is huge because we talked about how this bot lane wanted to be the 2v2 advantage. They wanted to try and make the most out of the first levels, to try and snowball out. But they are able to win the fight and get ahead of the bot lane counterparts in the CBU side really nicely. I think we will see the replay for the bot lane, but before we see that, I want to comment that on the top lane, the play that we saw happening, the complete difference was one longsword. If that longsword is in the pocket of the Jax gets a kill. But still, great outplay to see from the Camille to come back into us in a sense as well.
Exactly. I mean, you needed that if you were Severe. Johnny Rockets was just getting into a point where it was just going to be absurd. And Sliver is there hovering. They're going to move forward, and they're going to get another wave crashing into the tower. But, for the meantime, let's take a look at that replay bottom lane. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, looking at it, because when we panned down, Timeless was really, really low, actually. Okay, the ultimate's coming in. I really like the exhaust coming in first onto the Lucian to deny some of the damage, but Timeless is quite healthy, and I like this play here. The pull into coming in Timeless back, they had the heal in their back pockets to try and turn it around, and it's something that the Nautilus and the Lucian didn't account for. If they wait a little bit longer and maybe try to get another wave of cooldowns, maybe they can pull off the kill onto the Seri or onto the Renata.
All right, Johnny Rockets will take that kill, but it will be a 1-for-1 in the top lane. Just Jackson Camille doing Jackson Camille things. You look at gold really quick. Let's see what the implications of these two kills are in the top lane, because, you know, I think that is something that we got to look at. Severe, with those 2 kills, is in an even gold state with Johnny Rockets. So despite that CS advantage, the Jax doesn't have the lead yet, which is definitely good for Mid Gaming Neapolitan.
Yeah, it is quite nice that the lead is still so in favor, or not so in favor, but it's not so in favor of the Jax compared to what we see in bot lane, because we see Timeless being so ahead. Oh wait.
Yeah, we got a
Ooh,
play
nice
coming
counter.
through. It's going to be a 4v3. Jesus in the
oh.
bottle will just die immediately, even before the play begins. And CBU will take a free kill and will go straight over to the Dragon.
So the thing is, that was a 4v3. They destroyed the 4th one that it was trying to engage with great mobility and great utilization of their abilities. Oh, Moral 1.
Okay, a Moral 1. Yeah, he's going to be able to steal the
Yeah,
Dragon.
Flash.
We got a Cloud Soul and Rift for game 1 here. I mean, that's a good play for a Moral 1. Nice steal.
Yeah, I do gotta say, a little bit of lack of respect there, potentially knowing that there may be on the side, because the Camille was on the mid lane. Okay.
Wow.
That was
Great
so
handshake.
nice.
Yeah, great handshake there from Timeless. Unfortunately, the flash will get used by Solian to be able to get away from the combo there. But now that's no flash on your Lucian for the next 5 minutes. Rift Herald is going to get popped in the mid lane. They're going to be able to find the Spectrum Maw. They're going to be able to find a lot of damage onto I'm Bad, You're Awful. But not going to go for the Shadow Surge. Instead, using the pressure to get the headbutt into the mid lane. That is gold in the Vex's pocket.
So honestly, I think a little bit of a missed opportunity, because I think if they commit there with the Ignite, they have enough to get the kill. Maybe worried about the Wukong being on the side, but he didn't have ultimate nor flash, so I feel like there was a good opportunity. Still, you do get the headbutt, like you were pointing out, with the gold going into the pockets of both the Vex and the Viego, and because the Camille moved down, the Jax still has free time on top side. Like, they are gaining so many advantages without actually losing that much.
Interesting play coming through here as Severe's going to drop the Hextech Ultimatum. Johnny Rockets, yeah, just going to leap away and now could potentially turn this around in favor of CBU.
Oh,
Jensen is there along with Johnny Rockets. Will find the Counter-Strike Stun onto a Mortal 1. But the handshake just barely going to disconnect.
Yeah, almost being able to get the pull. Still, it's a nice attempt at collapsing. Nobody pays a big price. I think right now it's actually Mint that get a little bit of advantage, because with the Renata being on top lane, they actually don't lose anything, and instead the Nautilus maybe can look forward for a play. Although I like what the series is doing, trying to play safe behind turret. It's a really nice thing to see out of the AD carry to not risk himself. And the replay we have.
Look, yeah, this replay, the solo kill here.
Okay, both are really low health, and I think this is a continuation of Johnny Rockets out-attacking the minion here. I think that maybe if he pulls up, if he doesn't out-attack there, maybe he can survive. But still, both are fighting so consistently that I think the Jax is just gaining so much out of that without really worrying about dying. Like, even if he dies again, he's still in such a good spot that he can win fights against the Camille consistently.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing that right now. The trading for Johnny Rockets is just absurd. Divine Thunder unlocked. Master at Arms is available, so Johnny Rocket's going to try to go in for this 2v1, get a kill, and avoiding the counter-strike. I'm Bad, You're Awful will take that kill. Outplayed nicely by Severe there as the Camille. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Johnny Rockets, I like that he's trying to...
Smart play. Smart play.
Actually, I think that something hit... Oh, wait, what is happening here? Okay. Nice, but Silver. That was out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was, I think, Severe just kind of being way too far forward there, not recognizing where Sliver could be, and it ends up resulting in a 1-for-1 in the top lane. We do have some damage onto Chevy, and he's going to get hit by the Cyclone
Oh,
and
the
the
feet didn't come
Everfrost
through.
and the Charm. It's everything in a bag of chips against the Chovy, pardon me, as he does go down. Meanwhile, Clone's going to be dropped in the bottom lane after the hostile takeover. Timeless is still looking to be able to deal what damage he can against Soli, and the exhaust is going to get used. The root's going to land in onto Timeless as well as the Ignite. Jesus in a bottle is so low, and Timeless is on a rampage. Pick up his 4th kill.
Yeah, Jesus in a battle is so low and Timeless is so strong. He's getting so much done with the Qs. He also has the shield bow already, which means that him dying is actually quite hard. Like, even if they get the engage on him, the shield will proc and he can survive quite a good amount of damage. So all in all, we're seeing this bot lane being so strong that even though the punishment is coming from the top side, the gold div is not getting shorter thanks to the fact that the bot lane is being able to turn around so many plays. And again, Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, he's looking to go in again for the 2v1 once again. This time, the Counter-Strike will land onto Severe after the Hextech ultimatum.
He doesn't have flash,
He will Leaping Strike away. It's kind of like a flash. It's like Flashlight. And now they're looking to be able to bounce it back. Sliver's going to be on the way, going to look to try to land the Spectrum onto a Moral One, which he does. A lot of damage onto the Wukong, who will go down. Meanwhile, Johnny Rockets is going to Leaping Strike away. We have the Shadow Surge coming in from Chovy to try to make the outplay happen. Johnny Rockets survives for so long, but he does end up going down. The Shadow Surge will come through as Sliver is able to get the resets. That's another one onto I'm Bad, You're Awful. That is a 3-for-1 play in favor of CBU.
Johnny Rockets is just playing his job as the bait. He's just doing what he needs to, taking all the damage, taking all the pressure, and then everyone else can just come in and clean out the fight. Really nicely done by the side of CBU, and this is the risk about the Viego. Like, even if you can commit onto a champion, even if you can kill him, once one enemy player is dead, or one member of the enemy team is dead, Viego just runs the show. He resets, gets so much value, gets extra health, comes into the fight once again and just does whatever he wants. And I really like, I hope that with this replay we can just focus on that, because the survivability from the Jax is really nice. But the Viego being able to arrive on time, as well as with the Vex, just does so much for the side of CBU. And I really like the Viego play here, focusing onto the Wukong. Like, they actually played this really nicely, waiting for the Wukong here, trying to get the most down and killing him.
Exactly, and then the Shadow Surge, like you said, from Chovy to come into the Everfrost. Sliver's able to get the reset and the reset and the reset and the root into the dredge line. Against I'm Bad, You're Awful is pretty impactful. Meanwhile, Timeless is going to have to flash away from a play from a Moral One and Solian. Cyclone is still available, and he is going to go in for it against Timeless, as Timeless is trying to be able to get away. The depth charge will get used, and Jensen's going to be able to take one. Timeless is going to be able to take another. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but a shutdown goes over to I'm Bad, You're Awful in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they still got 2 kills out of that play in the bot lane in a 4v2. Like, that is still so much. Severe
it's a bait! It's a bait against Severe, who is severely underfed. Oh, no. Poor child. Johnny Rockets be the one that gets the surprise at the bottom of the Cracker Jack box and takes his 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, and it's so sad for Severe in that play, because he actually was dealing a lot of damage to the Jax. I can kind of understand why he decided to follow up, but you have to take into consideration the rest of the map, right? We saw a 4-man play in the bot lane. That means that you don't know where the rest of the team is, but you know where your team is. And if you're committing for a play like that, you're not going to be alone. I can assure that there's not going to be you and the enemy laner. It's going to be someone else coming in. And the punishments from CBU is so good.
With that being said, though, it was a shutdown against Timeless. That is a big bounty going over to I'm Bad, You're Awful. And so definitely want to keep that in mind here, because the Ahri can still be very impactful. Is looking to go for a 2nd item. Rabadon's Death Cap has both needlessly large rods in the bank. If we take a look at gold really quick, he also has the most CS in the game. So I'm Bad, You're Awful is almost comparable to Timeless at this point, as we do get the Everfrost going to land into the dredge line onto Chovy, once again getting caught out. The Immoral One will take that kill.
I'm honestly surprised with the lack of flash attempts by Lil Chovy. Like, I think that he has had chances to flash away and survive. Here, I feel maybe it's a little bit less clear, just because there's so much to see. But I feel like you have to flash preemptively. You cannot commit to a play like that, especially because you have absolutely no vision. So you don't know what to expect from anyone else.
Take a look at
Oh.
this here as Johnny Rockets
He was
is
seen.
he's looking for it. He wanted it, but no, it is just going to be the switch for Johnny Rockets. We already have the bottom lane or the top lane tower down, so he's going to be looking to do his part in the bottom lane. Let's take a look at that that 4v2 in the bottom lane here.
So the thing is, I can kind of understand why Timeless jumped in there, although that is one of the main reasons why at the end it's so hard for Timeless to play this, because he was in a tough spot. He jumped in over the wall, and that means that he's kind of forced into that spot. But getting a kill here and getting a counter kill, I feel like all in all for Timeless is not that bad, even if you give away the shutdown. One thing that I'm kind of curious is, where was the revive from the Renata and all that? Because I think that if you do have if it was on cooldown, it's kind of funny that the Seri didn't have it for the remainder of the fight, and I feel like with that, maybe Seri can pull off a better outplay.
I think I can. I don't know for sure because I wasn't checking the timers on that, but I do believe that loyalty program does have a pretty. It's a decently long cooldown, so they might have used it at the beginning of that play. So that's probably the explanation there, or maybe it was just a misclick. 7.14 seconds though, so. I mean, maybe. I mean, we'll chalk that up to maybe it being on cooldown. We'll give Jensen the benefit of the doubt.
I can also guess maybe that because they thought at the start that there was going to be less members joining, like it was just a 2-for-2, and then they saw the rest. I can maybe think that they thought it wasn't going to be that big and tried to use it on the Renata instead of the Seri. But it's still a thing that you have to take into consideration, especially with how Renata plays.
Exactly. And we got to look to see, will these Renata plays continue to be impactful? We saw the loyalty program from onto Timeless a little earlier that ended up working out really well for them. They were able to secure that kill. But for the time being, they are looking to go up against Johnny Rocket. The Immoral one is going to be using that Cyclone and the damage of it to come through, but a nice assist from Jensen will get Johnny Rockets away.
Easy escape by Johnny Rockets there. Just a jump away and you get your life. Like, your life is not traded away, and it's actually a lot committed. Ignite was used by the Nautilus to ultimate, and they get the turret, but they also lose the dragon on the other side. It's Cloud Soul Point for the side of CBU, which, even though it's not that big, this can also mean Elder is coming soon. And actually, they are ahead. The side of CBU is ahead. So if they get a fight in Elder at this point in the game, where they are ahead compared to the side of Mint Gaming, I can see them just winning that fight and winning the game with the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, I think this is what worries me now here for Mint Gaming Neapolitan is I don't think that they did enough in the early game to justify the Nautilus solution in the bottom lane. And, I think that there was still enough. I think there was still enough power and enough gold put in onto Johnny Rockets to make sure that Severe and the 2 kills that he was able to get into the laning phase wasn't as impactful as it could have potentially been. So, the longer that this game goes on, I think the more powerful Lil Chovy becomes, the more powerful Timeless becomes, the more impactful Jensen is in comparison to Jesus in a Bottle as the Nautilus. So I think, theoretically speaking, CBU was in a very strong position here at the 22-minute mark.
Yeah, and I feel like, or just looking at how the compositions wants to work and how they want to approach fights coming up soon enough, Jensen just becomes even better. Because the Renata ultimate is one of the better tools to deny dive. And that's pretty much how Mint Gaming really wants to play. Apart from Severe coming in from behind, the Wukong and the Nautilus will come from the front. And one Renata ultimate in their face means teamfight is potentially lost.
Mm-hmm. So and so I mean, we got to take a look at what the next step is here for CBU, because like I've been talking about, like I was saying, I think the expectation is that they will be on the up and up. We got to look at Johnny Rockets almost at that massive 2-item power spike with the Blade of the Ruined King. With that and the Divine Sunderer should be looking very strong as a 2-item spike, and has the teleport available, so can go in for that split pushing combo and potentially utilize that to make plays, considering that he has to go against Severe in the 1v1 that he will win. Baron has been started,
It's
and
completely
Vision
blind, though.
has been secured against them. So there is no knowledge of this against Mint Gaming Neapolitan. I wonder if Immoral 1 might try to go for the play as the Lightning Strike does
So
come through
low,
from
though.
CBU. They're looking to be able to go for it. The
That's too
Baron
late.
does get taken, and Immoral 1's going to go in all alone. The loyalty program's going to come through to keep Jensen alive. The Shadow Surge does not land on Solian, and the teleport coming in from Severe is just going to make him force out a flash. Sliver's now on the way with the Heartbreaker's going to try to go up against CBU. They're going to take who they can. It's a 2-0 and Baron play for CBU.
When you see Siri surfing like that against the Ari in her face, you know that it's such a harsh situation for you. But that play from CBU, like, I don't want to talk about the fight because the fight was pretty apparent and how it happened. The setup for that Baron take, completely blind, no risk situation. They have complete control, and if they come from the front, Renata is so great. One ultimate from her, like the timing from the Wukong was so bad, even with flashing in. The security that they had onto the Baron buff was perfect, and the Renata ultimate is just a cherry on top to deny them completely. That was such a perfect setup by CBU, and even if they lose the game after this, I don't want to curse anyone. That is one of the best setups I've seen so far in this tournament.
I have to agree. You know, that was really expertly handled there from CBU. They knew their advantage and they made it happen. I think, you know, that was also an extended power play from CBU as well. Because they got the 2 kills, they were able to unlock both the inner towers in the mid lane and the bottom lane before going for that reset. So now they're coming back even stronger. And they're looking to be in a very strong position moving into the next big objective, which is going to potentially be Cloud Soul Point coming up here very shortly, 2 minutes. Don't let the dragon counters on the HUD fool you. It is potentially Cloud Soul Point for CBU if they are able to get it.
Yeah, that is not our fault. That is Riot's fault, so you should blame Riot for that one. But yeah, like this is going to be Soul for the side of CBU if they can play this correctly.
Oh, they wanted it. They wanted it, and they are going to get the slow against Solian, but the Shadow Surge doesn't land.
Johnny Rocket's not again.
This is a 1v3. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. He doesn't quite have the damage, and he will get shut down. But at what cost to Mint Gaming Neapolitan's base? The inhibitor goes down in the mid lane, and you know, that's just 1 kill for the inhibitor. That's a decent trade.
Yeah, actually, for Mint Gaming, I think that is a really good trade. Because all in all, it's the mid lane inhibitor. It's one of the easiest. It's actually the easiest inhibitor to protect because it's the one that is in the middle of the map. Oh!
Okay, yeah, Jesus and the ball is going to flash forward, but he's going to miss the dredge line, and now a massive hostile takeover onto all 4 members of Mint Gaming Neapolitan. The slaughter looks to be started as Timeless is going to be able to come in. That's 1 for Timeless. That's another for Chovy. Sliver's going to go down, and a triple kill for the Zeri. Maybe even look to go for the quadra kill, but they don't even need it. They are going to look to end the game with this 4 down against them.
It's on Camille now. It's the last hope to be able to protect the base. I think maybe she can do it, but she has to sacrifice herself.
Well, she's got to do it now. She went back for full HP.
No.
She's not even attempting it. Yeah, it's GGWP here. Oh, man. Yeah, Jesus in the bottle. That was not a heavenly play. And ends up costing Mint Gaming Neapolitan the game there.
I feel like there's a chance to criticize there, but at the same time, if I was on Jesus in the bottle's shoes, I feel like with 1 member dead, with them running away, with your whole squad trying to collapse on them, I think that's an opportunity that you have to take. You have to hit the flash hook though. Like that's the risk with the Nautilus, right? If you go in, you have to hit. If not, you're essentially just throwing away everything there. And that fight was, funnily enough, kind of bad for CBU because we saw the Viego getting 1 reset, but they controlled him so perfectly. But at the same time, Renata ultimate was perfect, Seri was free hitting, and the value out of the fear from the Vex was actually not that bad. I think we do have the repetition from that fight, though.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, we got to look at that one again. I think definitely play of the game right there for me was that 4-man hostile takeover from Jensen. They all lined up. We got to take a look at it one more time because,
Yeah.
like you said, this is a must, this could potentially just be a must-win, must-play situation.
Yeah, and I cannot fault the flash hook. I fault the execution certainly because it didn't work out, but that was such a perfect ultimate. It was actually 5-man because it hits everyone from the enemy team, even though none of us dies first. But like we see, even though the Viego dies there and doesn't actually get the most out of the passive from the Renata, Seri free hitting. This flash is perfect.
Oh,
It's
wow.
actually so perfect. It's blind apart from that. Like I don't know, I don't think the ward was able to catch the Ari walking into the bush, so it's blind. It's pixel perfect. But yeah, like CBU played this game so according to what they needed to do. I think apart from Johnny Rockets in the top lane performing a little bit too much aggressively sometimes, I think the rest of the members played so well. Like Timeless to me actually carried the game so massively in so many instances with the Seri play and winning bot lane so effectively as well with Jensen.
I mean, I have to say, I think, for the most part in the bottom lane, Timeless and Jensen did play a phenomenal 2v2. They, they got shut down, but they were able to take 2 down with them in that 4v2 play. And overall, I think with the exception of maybe that one potential misplay with Timeless getting shut down, Jensen lands every single one of those loyalty programs and is able to keep multiple members alive with using that gray health and the resets that you're able to get off of it to great effect. So, shout out to Jensen for showing us how Renata can be played, what can be done with it, because I've been waiting to see it be effective, and we got to see it here in the VTS Week 5. McKinney Neapolitan is now on the back foot. They must win this next game in order to make it to a game 3 situation. But CBU Wu, they came out and they have shown that they are here to play in week 5. They are trying to be a contender in the VTS, and I'm very excited to see if they're going to be able to keep it going. We're going to take a quick break before we jump into game 2. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the VTS League. We have our match result here for the first game between CBU and Mint, and unfortunately, Mint was not able to really freshen things up, and they were taken down by a team who has arguably the worst name in the league. So, definitely an unfortunate result for Mint there, but you have to absolutely give credit to the Renata there, putting out one of the most insane hostile takeovers I've ever seen on the champion. And we've always talked about, or I guess we, in sort of like the analyst sense, always talk about the potential of the Renata pick in terms of what it can do in team fights. But honestly, I never get to see it pop off the way it did this game. It's very impressive, and I'm so happy that we got to see Renata showcase as successfully as it was this game.
Oh my goodness. I mean, overall, like, granted, that game was looking to be CBU favored before that point, but just the parameters of that particular fight, having it be a 5v4, having the initiation begin with the Flash Dredge line, like, I respect Mint Gaming Neapolitan for going for that play, because when you are still behind like that, you do have to go for whatever life throws at you. You know, when life gives you lemons, you have to make that Mint Gaming lemonade. And unfortunately, the dredge line doesn't land. Had the dredge line land, does the result of the fight change? I don't know for sure, but I do know for a fact that you cannot you cannot be all clumped together inside a choke point when hostile takeover gets used. And unfortunately for Mint Gaming Neapolitan, that's exactly where they were, and the flight ends up getting turned around. Timeless gets that play, and it works out really, really well for him.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think there's much to comment. As much as I think the credit is fully served on the side of CBU, I feel like if you're on the side of Mint Gaming, you have to go for the play. Yeah, you're one inhibitor down. Yes, you kill Johnny Rockets, but there's still 4 Baron buffs. Soul on the it's coming up. Then maybe Elder. Your composition doesn't scale better, so you have to pull the trigger in that point. And I come from a sports background, and I watch a lot of football. You have to go for the play when you see the chance. Doesn't matter if it fails miserably or not. If you have a chance, you have to go for the play, because you miss every time that you don't take action, that you don't actually take it, and you have to go for it. So I cannot say Min was in the wrong there. I think it's the execution that fails at the end, but it's not the wrong idea.
Yeah, it's all about getting the good execution and the good ideas going simultaneously, because otherwise it doesn't necessarily, you aren't going to be able to find success if the core of what you're trying to do is faulty. It doesn't matter how great your execution is if the idea is garbage. So before we throw it over to the draft, I'm curious, what can Mint do to turn the series around?
Gotta start the draft
briefly.
Yeah, I would say it has to go for draft. Like, they drafted for something that they didn't play for. So I think that they have to draft much more according to what they want to do. And I think it has to do with topside. I think they would rather play out towards topside and towards the mid lane as well, which seemed to be an important point in the previous game, in my opinion.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll have to see if those draft adaptations can come through and bring Mint back in the series to keep their hopes alive. I'll go ahead and throw it over to you two, and we'll see what can happen for these teams. Who can succeed?
Indeed, Becky, Rita couldn't have said it better. We have, two teams that are still looking to be able to make plays happen. The opportunity is there for Mint Gaming Neapolitan. They have decided to stay on the blue side for game 2. But there will be no Renata Glosk in this game. That is a bench. Nor will the Wukong be available. That's going to get banned along with the Seraphine and the Kindred TDS.
Yeah, they're sticking with the Kindred band, but taking away from the Renata. I like the band coming through. I'm surprised seeing the Wukong on the ban list because I actually didn't think that it was that impactful. Maybe it's just that the team fighting this time around without the Renata is going to be much more difficult, so they think that the Wukong will be a bigger threat. But staying still true with the ban, Senna coming in once again. And now we need to see if they're going to take away the Viego as well, or, oh, okay, Veigar. I think they did the Veigar in the previous game as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they took away the
Actually,
Olaf.
no.
In,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
the Olaf.
They took away the Olaf. Yeah, they took away the Olaf in game 1. So, is hovered here. It is a wrong pick and does have the tendency to pop off, especially with the changes that we did get to see in the previous patch. So, I think it is a decent option, and it does provide some difficulties for the Viego if you want to decide to go for it, especially in the early game, because I do believe that Olaf is still a very strong early game champion. So not only can you now get that early to mid game scaling with the changes, but you can also flex that into the top lane if you wanted to. And CBU was going in for a completely different look here. The Lilia is going to get locked in. The chance for that massive lilting lullaby is going to be there, along with, that dot damage that the Fawn of the Forest provides.
Yeah, and the thing here is that I was going to say Olaf can be good in the jungle, but I've seen it much more in the top lane, so it can still be a flex that we have to care about. The Lilia here, I think the idea is going to be outrunning the Olaf, because obviously the ultimate is not going to put him to sleep with the Ragnarok. And actually, I think this can be similar to how you would play with Udyr, in the sense that with Udyr, you just try and run around him, and then you reset with the Olaf stun, which does work out quite well. The Jinx here coming through. I'm not fully against the Jinx here, because it is a consistent damage dealer that can destroy certain champions, but if the Olaf gets on top of you, you're dead essentially. And I'm not fully in favor of trying to play the Jinx, especially without an enchanter yet. You need someone to keep this Jinx alive as possible, as much as possible. And that was one of the better options to do that. The Karma taking away. This actually, for the Olaf, one of the better picks that you could go for. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what Uwu's play is here, because Neapolitan last draft, we criticized their decision to go with the Ahri first, which then allowed for the Nami to get banned. This time they take the Karma to pair with the Jhin. So you do have that early game bullying. You do have the opportunity to go for layered on CC if you can land it from Solely in and Jesus in the bottle. Also, potentially the Karma can still be flexed into the mid lane if you wanted to go for something different. But TK is going to get locked in. I have been seeing some Jinx TK in the bottom lane. You can keep the Jinx relatively safe, but it is still potentially a flexible option that can go into the top lane as we look into the bans. The Ahri, the Yone, and the Ornn for the second game in a row is going to get banned away against Severe and Mink Gaming.
Yeah, and Ornn is one of the stronger champions in top lane, in my opinion. And I feel like the Baron here comes with CBU not actually going to play the Ornn. Like, this isn't for them because it's the overall champion or anything like that, and they don't feel comfortable playing it or giving it away. It's just that for Johnny Rockets, it's not in his style to play it, and that's why I think we're seeing much more the ban, because instead of taking it themselves, they'd rather just give it away. They'd rather just ban it away and not have someone else take it. But there's a lot of attention towards the soul lane. And thinking about it here, maybe we see the Vex again, because I don't particularly think that it's a bad blind pick here, but as blind pickable champions, I'm trying to think in the middle lane, what do you go for? Victor maybe, Orianna? Ooh, okay. This is actually a good top lane champ.
I definitely agree. I think that Gwen is the decent choice here. I don't think that the Vex complements the comp that Uwu has played as well as it did in game 1. In game 1, they were all about being able to stick onto the backline, just slide their way into being able to make sure that the Ahri wasn't able to come through, making sure that no one was able to escape. But here in this game, it definitely feels like you're more looking to go in for those engagements that allow for Johnny Rockets and for Timeless to potentially pop off in these longer extended fights. So I'm looking to see what tank we potentially get here. maybe this is a Lilia mid lane. Maybe this is a Gwen jungle. I don't know 100% for sure, because I do think that CBU is somewhat light in the health department, is somewhat light in the front line, but that's not the choice that they're looking for. They are looking to burst down, and they're going to lock in the Zed for this final pick.
So, the thing here that I see with the Zed that I think goes into something idea. So first of all, there's 3 squishy champions that you can kill, namely the Karma with the shields. Like, if Zed is not ahead, the Karma with the shields will 100% deny you. You're not going to get, I don't think you get enough damage to kill them if the Karma is able to put the shields on top of you, if you're not ahead. Now, I was thinking about this with the Olaf pick as well, because I think Olaf became a champion that if you don't burst him out, he can outfight you because of how Ragnarok now works, and that he's a sticking prowess. I think the Zed is a champion capable of bursting out the Olaf without being hit by the Olaf once, but at the same time you need to be ahead, and it's all going to bank on if the Zed can get ahead of the Talia, and if he can begin moving around the map and creating chaos. And that is a really tall ask in my opinion, but it's going to be fun at least seeing the Zed performing all around the map, trying to get something done and trying to snowball his lead.
Right, yeah, I think, you said it correctly. Like, this is going to be a Zed versus Talia lane. I expect, unless we do get some shenanigans here from Neapolitan, I mean, there could be some adjustments and some shifts coming through. We'll get the confirmation here in a moment, but, we are going to get to see the Gnar into the Gwen here. I am a little nervous for Johnny Rockets, I think, in the very early stages of the game, but once again, like, I think that it all is going to boil down to whether or not Rockets can get into a decent lane state early on, get those early plated steel caps, and potentially just try to outmaneuver the play that Severe is looking for. I think in the 1v1, I think that Severe played it relatively well. I don't think we had any solo kills that didn't result in at least a 1-for-1 against the Jax in the Jax Camille matchup.
Especially Romero.
Yeah, so I do think that Severe is somewhat skilled and is now in what's your thoughts on the matchup? I mean, especially with some of the changes that we've seen in 12.10.
So the thing is, I feel like the matchup stays a little bit similar to where it was previously, in the sense that you can harass the Gwen pre-level 4, pre-level 5, pre-level 6 even. You can harass her to a certain degree, try and get her low enough, try to force her back early on, try to deny some CS, etc., etc. You are kind of a sitting duck if the Gwen ever tries to run on you, because if you hit, I think Gwen is getting hit in the next patch, but it's still pre-that, so when she hits you, she can dash quite effectively and kind of stick on top of you, especially if she runs Ghost, which I hope she does. And it becomes quite hard for the Gnar to escape effectively if the Gwen is able to get on top of him. Now, I think that the Gnar is not a bad option, but one death by the Gnar, I think, kills the matchup. One death. You just need one death on the Gnar, and that's it. Gwen begins to run over everything. So it's a risky matchup. It's really dependent on you and on how well you can shut down the Gwen. And I'm not sure if it's going to work out. Like, I just feel Gwen is even stronger in this patch, and her survivability is even better. So it's not like previously where you could harass her even more than you could previously.
Yeah, the Gwen is immune. The Gwen is immune. The Holodisc can be the X factor here in this game. And for mid-gaming Neapolitan, they need this top side of the Rift to pop off, because Omora 1 on this Olaf does have that early game prowess. Severe on the Gnar, we just talked about it, but you look at Solian and I'm Bad, You're Awful, they both are going to have to take a enormous amount of time to be able to scale up and be able to get the burst damage that we know that they can get to. So they have to get good ganks. They have to make sure that they're able to land their skill shots, especially in this mid lane. The Talia is not going to have a good time because of all the ways that Chovy can dodge away from that seismic shove. That is the combo initiator that you need to go for. So very curious to see how the bottom side of the Rift works out for Mint Gaming Neapolitan here. I think it's the exact opposite layout than what we saw in game one. I think that Jensen does have the opportunity, if he does land the tongue lash, if he is able to get into the face of Jesus in the Bottle or Solian, to work to get those kills in for Timeless like they were able to do in game one. But Chovy and Johnny Rockets have the chance to be the hyper-scaling, one-shot, stupid champions that we know them both to be.
Yep. And it's going to be fun seeing how Dusty perform. One thing that I do want to mention though is that I feel like the early stages will define a lot of what we see in game, because Jinx Tam Kench, I don't think it's a bad bot lane. I don't think Jin Karma is a bad bot lane either. But I feel like whoever gives away the first blood, be it for either team and whoever gets it, like the tempo that they get based on that first blood is actually so important, because let's say for example it's Italia that gets it. Level 6, you roam around the map with the Olaf, you get pretty comfortably ahead with those two champions, and it's really hard to stop them from snowballing. Same can be said for the set. If one kill is on the side of CBU, you get the tempo on their side, Set can begin roaming around, go towards that lane, snowball it ahead with the damage that he has, and it becomes a really big problem. So I feel like the first 15 minutes of the game are going to be massive for either side. Whoever can get the snowball rolling, I think that it can set themselves into such a comfortable spot to win the game.
Fair enough, fair enough. And I've already made my prediction. I guaranteed a Mountain Soul in this match. So I have to stick to my guns. I have to say that it's going to be about Rift here in game 2 with a threat of it going 2-0. But TDS, you're still open. Ocean Soul, it was not in game 1, but what's your prediction here for
I
game
go
2?
Hextech this time.
Hextech? All right. It always has to be Hextech. 100%.
I love it.
Totally agree. I would be down. Let's find out what the Dragon Rift is going to be and who will take game 2. Will CBU will be able to make it a 2-0 sweep, or will Mint Gaming Neapolitan give us the chance to get into some game 3 shenanigans? Let's find out here in just a bit. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We've got ourselves game 2 on our hands. CBU is looking to potentially make themselves a 2-0 sweep and go 2-3 here in week 5 of the Victoris Triumph series. We wanted to TDS and I know
Wait,
Cal
really?
was interested in some of the different keystones that we've been seeing here. Ghost Smite for both junglers, as well as Ghost
I like
Teleports
it.
coming in from Johnny Rockets on the Gwen.
So on the Ghost is my thing. I like it for both because with all of Ragnarok's new interaction now that you can keep it stacked, sticking onto the targets is quite good. And with Ghost, you really don't worry about someone flashing away because if you hit one Q, one X, you're going to be able to keep sticking on top of them with the Ghost as well. Now, the Lydia as well, I think works out quite nicely. Wait, I thought this was a bug.
It
Oh,
definitely isn't.
oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Hey,
Well,
you know
it's
what?
when.
You
It's
know
when.
what?
Maybe it works out.
You know what? Master level players can make the same mistake that IBS
Eh,
players do. And
Rookie did it.
that should be inspiring and saying, "Hey, I'm just like you too." Here for
Just
Johnny
like
Rockets.
you.
No items.
Oh.
Oh, the tongue lash doesn't land, but Jensen will force out the flash from Jesus in a bottle. Good level 1 play here from CBU.
Yeah, and I love the way that they played that because they didn't commit the tongue lash at the start. They went with the auto attacks. That means that the tongue lash is always the threat there, and you can threaten the stun, which at the end was the reason why the Karma was forced to flash away. Really nice play once again by CBU's bot lane.
I'm still just I'm kind of wooing here on the no item Gwen strat.
Ouch.
Very curious to see how that is going to play out. And like, really in the grand scheme of things, how does having no items impact Johnny Rockets here in this top lane? How big of a difference is this going to make?
So you were going to lose the matchup anyway, but you're lacking some of the damage to try and at least trade with the Gnar as well as trying to farm. She is backing now, so must have realized the fact that it has no items, as well as I think has to commit a teleport. If the Gwen teleports here, she is, this is actually worse than I thought. Because I was thinking, okay, you play the laning phase as is, and try and get their farm lead towards what it was. But if you commit the teleport here, you're essentially non-existent for 5 minutes. Like this matchup was already going to be better for the Gnar at the start, and then it becomes slightly worse with time. Now it's just going to take even longer for the Gnar to feel the pain, and the Gwen is not going to feel the same. Okay, no, this should be fine. But I actually don't like the teleport at all. I think you have to stick it up and play without items. Because it's at least with that you can still farm. Like she was doing farm, she wasn't that low in health.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, what did she get back for it? She got a Dorn's Blade and a refillable potion. Like, not the most menacing back. And they're looking to capitalize upon this. Johnny Rockets is going to be potentially in a 2v1. Moral 1 is there looking to potentially make the play.
No.
We also got plays bottom side as the Abyssal Dive does land onto Jesus in a bottle with no flash and no hope of getting out. Going to try to avoid the stun, but the tongue lash will come through. And first blood will go to Timeless. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Johnny Rockets was able to successfully navigate the gank from Moral 1. So CBU end up getting a massive play here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I actually need to know how did the ganky top lane fail, because it was just a slow push going into the body of the Gnar. Now, in the bot lane, I love the play. It's the kind of aggressive play that you can go for with Temkench, with how his W changed, because it's easier to get the knockup now. No flash on the Karma. She also used, I think, the shield previously, so it made it even easier for the amount of damage to come through. And it's an equal trade of summoners. So it's such a great play from the bot lane. Now, we do have the replay from the top lane play, and I don't really know. Like, we saw it. It was just pushing. I feel like you could have waited a little bit longer, but yeah, Gwen is immune.
Yeah, Gwen is immune. It is back like it was never gone.
The thing is, I just want to say that I feel like there was such a bad execution out of the side of Min there, because the wave was pushing into you. Oh, wait. Chovy has no shadow.
Yeah, gonna have to flash away there using the shadow earlier to get some harassment. So flashing away and not gonna be available for Chovy.
Yeah, nice punishment there by the Olaf in that play after what happened topside. So all in all, a really nice capitalization. They are still trying to see if they can put pressure here. Cetis, I think he should be able to get level 6 with this wave. So maybe they can look for a fight here. But I actually find it risky for the side of CBU to opt into this.
Yeah, Solian is not there though, so this is a 3v3, and Slider is there, so they decide to back away. You know, I think a good call of the bluff there from CBU Woo, and I guess this is going to be one of those VTS weeks with no Mountain Soul potentially, as Mountain Drake is going to come out here for the second one, which means Hextech Rift is still on the menu, TDS. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm still there. I can still play this, which is great. Honestly, for me, I need to get one of those. I don't think I've actually hit correctly one of the rifts yet.
I mean, you're bound to do it. It's a 1 in 5 chance. Like you got to get it together, TDS. Like, come on. I need to know what the winning lottery numbers are, and if you can't accurately tell me what the dragon is, what are we going to be able to do? It's going to be so rough. But right now, potentially the play is going to be in the bottom lane. Kind of getting bamboozled ourselves. I kind of thought that a Moral one was in that fight. I thought it was there, but no.
Yeah. The setup for the vision was like the Olaf was always there until we actually go in and there was nobody. I was expecting Olaf to come out of nowhere and hit someone. Oh. No, and same with Lydia, she backed as well.
Oh my goodness. Cow is getting back at me for my cow is old joke earlier. I know it. That's exactly what's happening. I didn't mean it like that. I thought it was funny, but I know I'm not funny. It's not my forte. I'm just a moose. But regardless of that, it happens to the best of us. And Chovy. Oh, I love the play. Massive play there coming in as Chovy's going to be able to get the play against I'm Bad, You're Awful. Yeah. And a double kill. Meanwhile, in the bot side of the Rift, Jensen's going to be able to take down Timeless. Timeless is going to go down as Jensen's going to try to be able to get the double kill here. Can he do it? He's got the gray health, but he doesn't quite yet have level 6. He actually loses out on the stacks. The Abyssal Dive misses. The dodge does not come through. And Solian ends up getting that play. But a double kill for Chovy in the mid lane, my word.
Yeah, and the double kill in the mid lane is actually quite huge because we talked about the snowball. It's so important to allow for the set to snowball out of control. Oh no. There's no ulti though.
Yeah, thumbs down. Johnny Rockets, though, does have the snip, and now also has Sliver on the way. The Swirl Seed lands. They decided not to go for the Lilting Lullaby.
I think it's because they saw the Olaf, so they didn't want to fully risk it. But still, they do get the flash out of the Gnar. They are still in position to try and go for the Herald. They even call the Temp Genj. And the set is still a threat to this Taliyah. Like, Taliyah cannot move blindly because she can just get killed. I don't think they're going to die of this. I just want to talk about it a little bit. I think we have the replay for the bot lane play. And there's one clear thing that sticks out to me in that play. And it's the summoner usage out of the Jinx. Because she had heal, and she didn't use it. Oh wait, actually, we're jumping into a fight, no?
We could be potentially going into a fight. We are going into a fight as we do have a Moral one coming through. Ragnarok does come in along with the Weaver's Wall. Johnny Rocket is so low, but Gwen is immune. Gwen is immune, and she escapes that play. Meanwhile, Slider and Chovy are coming in with the shadow damage. It is going to be a sent to the Shadow Realm play as Slider gets a double kill as well as Chovy. That is a 4-for-1 trade in favor of CBU Woo.
Jensen may have died, but he's a support. He knows what it feels to die consistently. Did an amazing job anyway. And we will have the replay immediately. We're actually, I think this is perfect because we can recount for everything that happened with the first play in the mid lane, with the double kill that happened. The first part, I think it's pretty obvious. We saw the amazing play by Lil Chovy just killing the Taliyah like that. Like, the exhaust comes way too late. And then the ultimate here, as the exhaust is timing out, just allowed for perfect timing on the kill onto the aura. And in this play here, look at Timeless. I think the heal is just about to come up as it is because on the the heal, look at that. The heal comes up just as he dies. So it's super unlucky for him. I actually thought that it was much worse than it actually feel that it was shown there, but it was a much I don't I forgot the word, but there was less of a timing to be able to do it. So you're forgiven, Timeless. It's fine. It can happen.
Yeah, Timeless, unfortunately, not exactly timeless there. There's a joke somewhere in that.
Yeah.
But we now get to go into this Rift Herald play because this was actually really, really close from Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, and the knockup first started for Jameson. I think it's amazing. But here from Johnny Rockets, we're making jokes about the invulnerable, the when is immune thing, but it actually came into play there. Because she survives being able to run away from the Olaf, I think, for the last throw of the axe, and it just allows for the Gwen to survive. Lilia gets the kill, and then Zed arrives, the fight is over. Because he has enough damage to kill everyone there, on their mothers as well.
Yeah, the snowball is very quickly turning into potentially an avalanche, as Little Chovy is indeed now 4-0. We are going to get a play in the top lane. Johnny Rockets will use needlework after the full ultimate comes in. Nice dodge of the boulder against Severe, so Johnny Rockets will survive. No one goes down, but you know what, TDS? You got some luck in you. It is a Hextech Rift for Game 2.
I knew it. I always trusted. I always believed in the Hextech Drake. It's amazing.
Yes.
And I knew it was amazing. Yes. For 5 weeks, it's the first one I hit. I'm glad with that. Oh, wait. Oh, Olaf is dead. Oh, Olaf was there.
Oh, so my God.
This is the way, if you're playing on Ranked and you want to know how to stop Olaf from snowballing or killing you, you just burst him out. That's it. You just need to have a champion that can kill him in 1 second. We're going to repeat it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much of a replay. Chovy just takes the kill immediately. It's too good. Chovy is unstoppable, and now now you have the Hex Gates as well to allow for the Zed to be able to move around the rift so much easier. It's going to be a very large uphill battle for Mint Gaming if they want to be able to win this one.
Oh no!
Devour's going to get used. Jesus in a bottle is indeed going to be sent back in a bottle. Jensen not going to be able to get the Abyssal Dive against Solian, so we'll be able to dodge that one, but that's another kill there for Timeless, and unfortunately you don't get that fourth shot to go down.
Yeah, and the thing is that I was going to mention previously, but we now see how effective the bot lane is, but it's not just a set. The bot lane is strong, Gwen has an item, Lilia is about to get an item, they are pushing on to the top lane, like, everything at this point for CBU is just simple domination. There's no Ragnarok, so he can die here, actually. Oh, yeah, actually, he's going to die.
Going to come in. Actually, going to be the blast going against Tomorrow. One Timeless is so low, but he does get away. No, he doesn't. That's the red buff. Taking the kill, making it a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, we've got I'm Bad, You're Awful going to get hit by the Lilting Lullaby. Will end up being the next target of destruction. Jensen will take that kill. Johnny Rockets gets caught out in the jungle, so he will go down. Ends up being a 2-for-2 across the rift.
Yeah, and even though they do get the kill onto the Olaf and onto the Talia, like getting the kill onto the Jinx is actually quite nice. This is a play that we saw way previously before the Olaf dying. This is a really nice kill that they get. Tamkinch is just able to walk into the enemy support and kill him thanks to his tankiness. And then this was really close. I really like the attempt there. But Olaf here, they had a vision there, so they know that the Olaf was there. Then they see the teleport with another ward. Like the vision control in the bot lane is actually so good. Now they do leave the Jinx here into a bad spot, and that's why at the end she ends up dying. But all in all, like the control that CBU has is so good. Yeah.
Yeah, you get popped there. Johnny Rockets gets caught out.
Wait, Gwen dies. Actually, I didn't even saw that.
Wow. Okay, so that's what happened. It was full HP, but she gets hit right into the turret range. So Johnny Rockets, kind of an oof moment there, but regardless, good heads-up play from Xavier to be able to find it and at least get a small consolation prize. We're only 15 minutes into this game, TDS, and we've got 17 kills. We have so much action on the Rift, it feels like it's been a 25-minute game.
Yeah, compared to the last game was much more controlled in a sense, where there weren't that many kills, but there were a lot of potential action. This game has a lot of action, a lot of kills, and a lot of just people wanting to die. Now the Gwen is pushing onto the tier 2 turret as it should be. She can even go for the kill here right away. Like, if not for the vision, she can actually opt into the kill here.
Chovy is there, so they could actually try to turn this into a play for CBU Wu if they want to try to make this happen. Chovy
Meganar is up.
going to get a little bit of damage against Severe, but like you said, Meganar is now on the way. The ultimate will come through, but it's Severe kind of out of position, getting caught out, and Chovy is dominating. Easy kill there for the Zed. Johnny Rockets is very low, but does end up not going down. Jensen does not get the proc off onto the Hex Gate, but will use the Abyssal Dive to kind of outmaneuver the Neapolitan for a little while. Weaver's Wall is going to get used as well. Jensen's going to flash away, but that is a flash fail. Tom Kench is still alive, though.
No.
Will eventually go down. Only had he not failed that flash, he might have survived that play. It looked cool.
Yeah, he tried, and that's what matters. But that kill is actually not bad because it's before the dragon spawns, so they can get to the dragon, try and get position, and maybe force a fight. This was a really nice collapse on Severe, and Meganar is most of the times a kind of transformation that you don't want to play against because it's risky. But they played around it really, really nicely. They are going to let the Drake go. Yeah, they are way too late for this.
Yeah, we got to play now. Looking at it, but a massive Lilting Lullaby. All 5 members going to go down, but a nice Gnar ultimate. That's going to be 2 kills against CBU Wu. Meanwhile, the Death Mark's going to land on to Soli, and that's going to be Chovy going godlike. Timeless is now very low and will go down. That's 4 members of CBU Wu dying. Chovy's going to try to make the play happen. Going to try to pick up a kill. Going to try to get it, and does. Legendary Zed. Little Chovy going to try to get away from everything. Thumbs up coming through. He does survive, but that is a very bad fight for CBU Wu as they drop 4.
Yeah, I think there were actually like 3 shutdowns coming in from that play. Luckily, it's not the biggest one, which is the set, but bounties are up, which means that they claim the bounty for the dragon. They get a really important turnaround fight in this. They get the bounty here, and the lullaby was amazing, but Gwen, like, she's immune, but if you jump into her place, she can die. That was such a good Gnar ultimate by Severe, and the Gwen does absolutely nothing. Like, she dies being completely useless in that fight, which is not typical to see. Oh, wait, bot lane. Oh, 2 members are dead.
The bloodbath does not stop here in game 2. No, Jesus in a bottle will go down, and Sliver will take the second kill there. Ends up making it a 2-for-0 trade in that play. Ends up being the result of the outer tower going down, so is a structure now taken away from CBU Wu.
Yeah, and that is a nice shutdown play to come after what happened in the dragon who went. Actually,
I don't know if Johnny Rockets can do this, but I'm gonna eat my words. Actually, yeah,
I was actually right. I was questioning what was Ambadurofel doing. Like, you can never go into a win like that. That is simply just a death threat, and ends up happening.
That's the Talia main in me saying, I can take that kill. I can make that happen. I can make something happen here. But alas, no, that is not the case. Johnny Rockets is 2-2-6 with the Riftmaker. Not quite full build, but is pretty good. As the Rift Herald does get taken. That is the second one of the game going down at the 19-minute mark. I will say the almost ace against CBU Wu has significantly slowed down the game for them. They were kind of commanding it, but losing 4 members does kind of take the wind out of their sails.
Yeah, it was good until it wasn't in reality, because they look at that fall of the cliff that was at some point. That is the fight that they lost, but they are able to recover slowly yet again, and they have a Herald in their pocket, so they can throw it and get even more gold from one of the turrets that it's still up on the map. And another thing to take into account is that we're seeing a lot of action out of the win and out of the set. But James is another champion that you have to be careful about. As soon as she hits 3 items, guess what? You're going to begin feeling the hurt out of the Jinx. And I think Timeless, even though he has been collapsed on and died quite a bit, in the teamfight he tried his damage to deal damage. And with another item in hand, he can do that quite easily.
I'm very curious to see what this play is here from CBU. I don't know if it was a misclick or if this is intentional. The Rift Herald does get dropped in the bottom lane, so they might be looking to set
I'm
up
not against this,
for
actually.
a Baron play. Johnny Rockets is going to be in the 1v1 against Severe. He needs to win this one in order for this play to work, but Johnny Rockets is going to be hit in the 2v1, but immediately, as the shutdown does land against Johnny Rockets and the Rift Herald does come through,
It's too late,
it is
though.
everybody else from CBU. They knew what the play was, and they are now going to be looking to go for Baron as a 4-man unit. No weaving wall from I'm Bad, You're Awful, but the curtain call is available for Solian to maybe try to make a play here.
Okay.
As the Baron does go down, Sliver's going to be able to pick it up. Meanwhile,
Jensen is dead.
is maybe
He cannot
in
run.
trouble, doesn't quite have the way to get out, and will be the sacrificial catfish one more time. Chovy, though, maybe in trouble, is going to try to get away. Will use the blast cone to do so. Meanwhile, it's Sliver, who's now going to be up against I'm Bad, You're Awful under the tower. Teleport is going to get used by Johnny Rocket to try to make this play to come through, as the Lilting Lullaby does come in against Severe. It's going to be a kill potentially for them, a double kill for the Lilia, but the shutdown does come through against him. Johnny Rockets now looking to be able to finish the play in a 4v2. Will be able to get the 1, will try to get the 2, as Solian is now on the way with the Gale Force, can't quite pick up the Gwen. Meanwhile, Chovy is now on the way to be the menace, the Dennis, the gosh darn man-s thing. Chovy gonna try to take down Solian. Will take it finally. It's the ace, one of the longest that we've seen in the BTS, but CBU pulls it off.
So my mid lane is happy that Zed gets the kill. Lil Chovy, great play. But my sympathy towards the AD carry main trying to survive, but not being able to, is actually so fun to watch. So I won't lie there. Still, great fight by CBU after getting the Baron. And I actually didn't like the way that it was played a little bit because it was too late. Like, we see how it started, and the start of the Baron was after the death of the Gwen had already happened. So it was riskier than it needed to be, but at the end they do secure the Baron. Johnson is a sacrifice, which happens to the best of us, to the best support happens that. And they were able to still win the fight, get ahead of everyone, and get the Baron, the Dragon, and a lot of kills. Oh, not again. Johnson, no. Please.
Okay, no, Jensen is going to be the bait. Aurora one's going to be the target. He's coming in. Johnny Rockets will be able to take that one, but Jensen will go down thanks to the curtain call. And Weaver's Wall will get used to allow the Talia to go away. Ends up being a 1-for-1, but that's support for jungler in favor of CBU Woo.
That is... The Gwen is immune. She actually killed the Temkench there by using the Shroud. Amazing.
Oh no! You're right! Oh my god.
I think that's the first time I've seen that in competitive. No, I think I've seen it in solo queue now, but in competitive I think it's my first time actually seeing it. It's amazing.
You know, I think I manifested it because we were talking about Gwen is immune, and I was thinking it, you know, wouldn't it be interesting to see the Gwen just kind of, you know, bamboozle someone, and ends up being Jensen of all champions to get played. But we're going to look at this super long play here after the Baron gets taken.
Yeah, and a lot of that starts with trying to kill Lil Chovy from the Olaf in an attempt, but here, there's no minions, the turret is still alive, so the Talia takes one hit here, but the healing out of both the Gwen and the Olivia makes them to be able to kill the Gnar here quickly enough, and then the Gwen just wins this fight. She out-heals the Karma with shields and the Olaf right now. She's that strong, by the way. She out-heals all of this. Then Jhin importantly here uses the Gale Force, which means that one of his escape mechanisms is already used, and that just means that the set can just easily follow up on the fight. Wait, Karma dies here. I actually didn't even notice how the Karma died. She dies just by staying there. Yeah, and then just the cleanup there. Oh? No,
okay,
wait, no,
yeah,
Jensen.
No, Jensen, 2, 7, and 8 will end up going down. The Swirl Seed will not land, but it is the play once again. Chovy comes in from the flank into the back line, and the slaughter has begun. Chovy is legendary. Johnny Rockets is on a rampage. I'm Bad, You're Awful is now sent to the Shadow Realm, and the Lilting Lullaby will land onto Severe. He's going to try to flash away, but they want the ace. They want the win, and CBU Woo gets their second ace of the series.
Yeah, another ace, another teamfight win, and potentially another game win for CBU Woo. really commanding victory. This game was much more sloppy in my opinion compared to the first one, but the end result is still the same for CBU, performing quite greatly and putting themselves into position to go for that playoff berth, like we were talking about.
Very
Almost.
close, but it all stems. It's all rooted in Lil Chovy being the big boy that he needed to be, putting on his big boy pants and getting that first double kill against I'm Bad You're Awful and the Immoral One, being able to get away from that seismic shove and turning that play around resulted in a legendary deathless Zed game for Little Chovy. Probably one of the best that we've seen out of the VTS so far. Really, really nicely done. Most damage in game in a very short one at that. It was what, 22, 24 minutes? 25 minutes for the completion
Quite short,
of this
actually.
battle. So, you know, they could have maybe ended the game a little bit sooner had they not messed them up at that Hextag Dragon fight. But all in all, it is still a victory for CBU. They end the night with the 2-0 victory against Mid Gaming Neapolitan, and they keep their chances of making it into the playoffs alive.
Yeah, this was potentially one of the lesser tests without trying to say anything against Min Gaming, but they are the 0-4 team, 0-5 now. So in standing wise, this was going to be one of the easier attempts that CBU could have to reach playoffs. But it's still a really nice match they played overall. They still need to perform in the remaining weeks because they are one loss away from missing playoffs. So they are with the backs against the wall. They need to be really on their game when they in each of the weeks that are remaining. But so far, this is a really good testament to how good they can be.
I think so. I think that, you know, everything that we got to see, I think, from CBU was pretty good. I think, you know, really
Yeah.
looking in the bottom lane, Timeless and Jensen had a solid 2-game spread against Solian and Jesus in the Bottle. I think that there were some misplays in the bottom lane there for McGaming Neapolitan, but, you know, regardless of that, it is still going to be a good game and a good play, I think, all around for CBU, showing us their potential in this A group. I think we have one final replay. Is that correct, Cal, of the final fight? Okay, we don't have a final fight, but we don't have the replay of that final fight. We don't really need it. We can talk about it as a group, because I would love to get Becky Rita in here to get their thoughts on what they think happened. I mean, regardless of Little Chovy being phenomenal in that
Being
game.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. And yeah, that game was quite exciting. Definitely a better showing for Mint, I think, than the first match. Although still the same result. And like you said, a very quick game. I think once Mint lost control, it was just completely over for them, and they had no real way of coming back. Which is unfortunate. Plus, like you guys were talking about, Lil Chovy. Is that actually Chovy? Is that him? He's smurfing on VTS
It's his
from
little brother,
Korea, playing
actually.
with 200 ping or whatever. I
It's his
mean,
little brother. That's why it's so good.
oh, Chovy Junior. I
Yeah,
see.
that's why it's
Very
little Chovy.
impressive. And I gotta say, you know, you very rarely see champions like the Zed show up in competitive play in general. And now on this patch, people were saying, you know, assassins are dead. But here's Zed. Zed's not dead, baby. He's here. And he put on a show. Deathless. Definitely an MVP performance from him. But overall, like, in terms of the trajectory for the rest of the split, because this is definitely a win, and it was sort of expected that that CBU was going to take this. How does the rest of their season look? How does this indicate further success as the days move onward?
It's so like we were saying previously, this was going to be one of the easier tests. Once again, not implying anything against Win Gaming, but they are the 0-5 team, so it's kind of to be expected when we're thinking about who they have left. Checking up on who they have left, they still need. If I'm not wrong, they are still missing I think they have already gone through virtual gaming, so at least in that regard, they don't have to play against the best team. But
I will
they
check
still
that
have
for
one
you
of the
They
while
tier
you're
one
on.
teams. Yeah.
they have to go up against RF, who is 3-1 as of
Yep.
week
Okay.
4, and then they have to
One
go
tier
up
one.
against Ragnarok Esports Loki, who is 1-3 at this moment. They are
Okay.
fighting for their tournament lives as well here this week.
But
Well,
this
yeah, I think that
I was just
Ragnarok.
going to say
Yeah.
this is actually one of the better potential places that they can be, because it's just 1-3 on one team that they need to go through, and it's not BGA anymore. So I feel like these are actually good chances to try and get towards that playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely good odds for CBU to start turning this back around and sort of join their sister team in Group B in squeaking into playoffs. I'm sure the players will certainly appreciate that if they can make it in. But of course, they still have the 2 weeks ahead, and RF will be quite the matchup. They've had a very good record so far. They'll be put to the test. I believe that's their last week match, and next week they're going to be
Okay.
up against Ragnarok Loki. So, if assuming they
Correct.
win next week, they're going to have to showcase their improvement that they've made across the split and bring it home in the last week, which that's a hell of a story, you know? That's a hell of a story for a team who has been struggling so far.
And we'll set them up so nicely for playoffs, because if they make it, like it's actually a team that is catching their stride into the playoffs, and that is a really important strength to have, because there's teams that start really strongly and then fall off. But if you start bad but come into the playoffs strong and become a really dangerous team in the playoffs, then you're actually a dark horse to try and win it, or even reach higher than just the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I gotta be I don't want to be the negative Nelly, but I do have to bring the opposite side of that coin. There is,
True.
CBU did drop the ball in the first 4 weeks of play, or in the first 3 weeks of play. They didn't get their first win, I believe, until last week. So, they, unfortunately, they are going to have a monumental task in order to make it happen, and some crazy shenanigans have to come through, because you look at the matches still coming up for the 3 remaining 3-1 teams. You've got, Goth Boys, Rice Farmers, and Glacial Esports. They are all 3-1. Glacial Esports is going up against Rice Farmers this week, so one of those teams will be able to confirm a spot. If you are
Yeah.
CBU, you are hoping to COD that Goth Boy clique is able to take that win, so that RF remains 3 wins. Then then RF goes up against Mint in week 6. Now it's going to take a miracle from what we've seen, I think, from Mint and from RF so far, for RF to lose that battle, and then CBU has to beat RF in week 7. That is just one of the ways that they can come in and potentially win it. So the odds of it happening are slim, but if CBU wants any chance, any opportunity for them to potentially make it into the playoffs, they must win in week 6 and week 7, continue to keep the momentum that they've got out of week 4 and week 5 going, so that they have the chance to potentially make it into the playoffs and go in for that miracle run. And it's definitely possible. Do not count them out.
Yeah, you can't count these players out. They're playing their hearts out right now because that's what they've got. Everything's on the line right now. They don't have any other chances. And unfortunately for Mint Gaming, their chances are pretty much over. I believe they were over at the start of the week anyways, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because of the result of this match, they will not really have they will just not have a chance at all to make playoffs. Their last 2 matches are going to be one against RF and one against GEB. Now, if they manage to upset either of these teams, it is super beneficial for teams like CBU or the other teams who are sitting at a losing record right now, because it gives them that extra edge. And if Mint wins, or not Mint, if CBU wins their game next week and their game against RF, and RF loses the next 2 weeks, these teams end up tied, which is super important.
Tiebreaker.
If we end up having tiebreakers, we end up having tiebreakers, it's more content, for the fans.
Yep.
Tiebreakers are always exciting. They make for great storylines, and even though it's definitely stressful for the players, it's got to be also pretty exciting as well in those games where everything is on a knife's edge, and any movement you make could be your last. But definitely a couple of exciting games today. Congrats to CBU for your great games today. And yeah, that I believe. Do either of you have anything else you would like to add before we sign off for the day?
Yes, check out Gold and Platinum Amateur Worlds. Both TDS and I will be in those tournaments, casting for those. Me in Gold, TDS in Platinum.
Platinum.
A ton of work has been put into making this project happen, and we would really appreciate you guys' support. The Gold Worlds Week 2 is going to be next week. TDS, when does Platinum Worlds start?
On Sunday.
On
This
Sunday.
starts.
Sunday.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. Sunday. And of course, we got Becky Rita. You gotta follow you on the Twitters. Gotta get those fans going, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. My posts are bad, but I think they're good. I think they're funny at least. So, I would appreciate it. But I definitely think check out Amateur Worlds. Support these players. This is a really cool thing that's being put on, and I think if you're a fan of the amateur scene, you should give your support to this kind of really cool event. Seeing all these amateur leagues come together and put on an incredible show is just kind of heartwarming. It's the grassroots esports. This is what esports is made of. This is what esports is built on. It's not money. When the money runs out, these leagues will remain. So, this is really where it gets exciting. And sure, it's not the highest level of play, but these players are here to show why they are the best in the amateur league that they belong to. And definitely got to respect that. And I think you should check it out if you've got time and, give support to those players and teams. With that in mind, I believe that is all we have for tonight. Thank you all for checking out tonight's broadcast of VTS. Of course, throughout the week, we have even more League of Legends content and Valorant content through every single day. On Monday, Tuesday, we have the draft night. We have the VAD and the VRD, the soap opera leagues, as sometimes they're called, the best drama, the best banter, and the most exciting games you'll ever see. Wednesday, Thursday, we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, we have all of our pre-made leagues on the various levels and Valorant as well. So make sure you follow this channel, Victoris GG. Also follow on Twitter to get updates about who's playing and when they are playing as well. And of course, if you're interested in getting involved in Victoris, feel free to join the Discord. There's a great and vibrant community who are all looking to just promote the amateur scene and get some games in. Occasionally we've got in-houses, we've got all the different leagues you can join in and learn how to get involved if you want to play yourself. That aside, of course, I think that's actually everything. Those are all the loops I usually run through. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. So with that done, I want to say once again, thank you all for watching, checking out tonight's VTS games. Because next week, of course, at 8 o'clock, 7:45 for the pre-show, we will have even more high-quality amateur League of Legends action that you will not want to miss. You will want to be here to see who will come out on top as we make the final push to playoffs. And I gotta say, there are a lot of teams to follow. TDS, I know you're a G7M. You're a G7M enthusiast.
I have history
You've,
with them, so yeah.
Yeah, you're a G7M enthusiast. Moose, who are you looking out for? Which team are you looking out for?
I remain neutral. I plead the fifth.
That's fair. You know what? I was gonna be annoying and push you on it, but that's fair. I think it is good to be neutral. But I am the worst caster, so I will not be neutral. Let's go. Actually, CBU. I want to believe.
In the underdog
in the
story.
playoff dream being alive, just so we can see in a team with Uwu in it make
hope-
their way
okay.
into playoffs, because I think that'll be funny. It'll be the best content, and I think
Yeah.
it'll make for a good show, even if they sort of flounder in playoffs. I think they'll have deserved it when they make it there. But yeah, that will be the end of tonight's broadcast. So once again, thank you all for watching. Make sure you tune in next week for more games, and have a wonderful, fantastic weekend.